Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Metal Gear Rising S-rank difficulty. S-rank difficulty? That doesn't even mean anything! I've already gone insane. It's an S-rank guide. It's that simple. It's a walkthrough on how to get the S-ranks. This is mission 3. Is it called Mile High, this one? Mile Rise? I can't remember. It's File 3. It's not even mission 3. I should just stop commentating. I'm clearly bad. But the first fight is one of the old slide on the kneecaps and slash people a lot until you get the Zandatsu out their assholes. Pretty much all you need to know. Whenever you're up against these standard enemies, you can get fancy with parries, you can do your little combos, but it really doesn't help you with the S ranks. Sure, it's going to get your combo up, it's going to, you know, if you can get the Zandatsus, that's the most important thing, but for the most, just chop them, blade mode them. This guy, a little bit more complicated, but you'll notice I'm using this all-powerful weapon. You see that? 2 hits and the special effect happened. Look at that, guys. Anybody who's sleeping on this sword, you shall not be sleeping on it anymore. It turns these cyborgs, the armoured cyborgs, into the standard soldier infantry guy. It is so powerful. But when there's a bunch of normal guys and a heavily armoured one, I like to kite the armoured guy away and then try and slide on my knees and slash everybody to ribbons. It's a fast and easy effective strategy to get rid of them. When it's just you and him, you can do the sliding and then chop the sword to stun him. Look at this sword, guys. God, I can't believe I didn't even have this sword when I was doing the guide. I wish I did, because it would have made so many encounters so much easier. But this is the stand and wait to be judged moment. I'm hoping I've got the S, I'm waiting for it, and if not, I'm restarting immediately. But that was a success, so we can carry on. Well, here's the double grads. And these 2 grads are significantly easier than the ones we fought as the boss. So you'll notice, this is actually a kill right there. That's how fast this grad goes down with this sword when I get the armor break. There's the stun with the Sai, couple more combos on him. If you can get the Zandatsu, I'd definitely say go for it, but sometimes it's hard to see it. I managed to grab it just then, which is always useful. Let's have a look. Is that the end of the fight? That looks like the end. I think it's the end of the fight. There we go. The no damage and the S rank. So this is the secret mission. You have to do all of these to get the best rank, and they all have to be S'd. This is kind of challenging, this one, because there's a bunch of the armoured cyborg guys, and because there's lots of them, they can be so difficult to fight at the same time. And I actually watched a really cool guy's video where he was stood in a corner with all of these dudes just attacking him, and he was just spamming the block and getting the parries, and it was crazy. It shouldn't have worked, but it did. And he was doing an S-rank run of Revengeance mode, only using Raiden's sword, which I thought's a badass idea. But I'm using the pincers, and as you can see, the pincers make these into bitches, because pincers are just amazing. And I really wish you could use them against Armstrong, you know, just to see how quickly you could kill him with that weapon, because that weapon is gloriously powerful, and the amount of times he lets you strike him, you could probably get 3 fully charged pincer attacks off him, which I think would take a full life bar, because he's armoured, but he's not that armoured, and the only reason that fight takes so long is because all you have is your sword, and he's got 200% life as well, which is another reason. Well, this is 2 geckos and a bunch of the little handy grabby dudes. Avoid the grabs. Wait for the run from the gecko, punish it with a full blade meter so you can do the YB, which involves kneecapping them and then Zandatsu. And just be careful on your recovery, because one thing that really fucks me off with this game is when you're coming out of this animation, you're completely vulnerable and you can't see everything around you. So there can be a guy directly behind you doing an attack and you never saw it coming, so you take a sloppy hit, and it's really frustrating. Also, be careful of the geckos at a distance. They will fire those missiles at you. They tend to miss a lot, but if they tag you, it's a restart. And I don't know if you noticed that, but I was slashing when I was running, and 1 hit from this broke the armour of that gecko, so I could immediately jump and Zandatsu him. So anybody else who's, you know, not using this armour breaker or has never thought to put it on, guys, check this sword out. This sword is amazingly good. I can't even stress how good this sword is. It's The funny thing is, it doesn't have the damage of the Is it Muramasa? I'm going to say that sword wrong every time. But it doesn't need it, because when it breaks the armor, you can immediately do the Zandatsu, which is a one-hit kill regardless. So it's, oh, I'm charmed. I'm completely smitten with how good the sword is, and it looks badass too. That's the cool thing about it. The only sword I'm missing at this moment in time is the long sword, because I have to do the fucking VR missions, and what I've played so far, really don't like them. Don't like them at all. If they were points based, I'd love them, but the fact that it's all time. I hate being timed, I really do. I like doing things methodically, and I like if you had to S-rank them, I'd prefer that. I really would, but when it's a case of beating a bunch of enemies in 40 seconds and stuff, it's like, come on guys, I don't want to do this. Because beating them is no problem, but again, those first rank time is something completely different. But these are a bunch of armoured cyborgs with shields. I use the pincer to get rid of the shield, and then I use the armor breaker to get them into Zandatsu range. And I believe that is the end of that encounter, so there's your no damage, everything else is obligatory. This is a secret mission, this one. You go to the left on the rooftops when you jump over that silly crane that completely fucks you when you land. And one thing I really don't understand is the fight before this has got a heavy cyborg guy. I say heavy, it's not the hammer guy, it's just an armoured cyborg. It's got a bunch of rocket launcher dudes, and it's got a couple of slider soldiers, and it's not a ranked fight. That's not a ranked fight, which has got all the hallmarks of a ranked fight, and then that stupid lobby, where all you do is use sub-weapons is. Somebody was drunk on the dev team, swear to Christ. And if I ever mention pure platinum, I mean platinum games, but I've got it ingrained in my brain that every single time I want to say platinum, I say pure platinum. And for anybody that doesn't understand where that is from, I played far too much Bayonetta, so it's scarred my brain in a really, really, confusing way, because every time I try and talk about this development company, it just confuses people, because I'm saying pure platinum and everybody's wondering what the hell am I on about. But this is an interesting fight. Worst part about this is the slider guys. So what I'm doing is I'm standing behind this ventilation duct so I can lure the big fat guy so I can kill these two toss bags up here. And all you have to do with these is jump and start slashing in blade mode. You'll get rid of them real quick. If you get the Zandatsu, it's gravy. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. Clear out all the sliders first. Be aware, if you don't kill the soldier but you kill the slider, the soldier will start to shoot at you. And one of the worst parts of going for these ranks is taking a stray bullet, because it happens all the time. So I charge the pincer to hit the heavy. You'll notice there's two more heavies now. This is three heavies at the same time, and it's only bad if you get real close to them and you get unlucky trying to evade, because evading the reach of that hammer can be very difficult at times. Easiest strategy for this, charged pincer attacks. Charged pincer will knock these boys on their ass and then they'll never recover. But it has to be the second charge. It can't be the first charge, I don't think. I think the first charge isn't strong enough. But don't quote me on that, guys. I might be wrong. Second charge is guaranteed, though, as you just saw. And once you've got them stunned, do not let up until they're dead. Just, keep on hitting them with the pincer. Keep on charging those attacks. Do not feel any mercy for this enemy. They're one of the most awkward ones on the game, because there doesn't seem to be a real effective way of killing them aside from armor breaking them and using the dash evade to get around them when they swing. But I'm going to be doing an analysis series of videos much similar to the ones I did on Devil May Cry. I'm going to be analysing some of the more challenging enemies and giving you some interesting ways to fight them, or some different alternatives to killing them if you're struggling. I'm also going to be doing boss analyses, which is an awful word to say because you end up just going like but it's analysing the bosses of the game, and I'm hoping that it's going to be well received, because the guide is doing okay. It's not doing brilliant, but there's a lot already out there, and nobody cares about beating Revengeance mode because there's no achievement. It's all about the S rank, so I do think that these videos are going to do much better than the guide. Because as I've been looking, I've done a couple of quick tip videos for this game, one about the Foxblade, one about the how to parry, and both of those are doing better than 75% of the guide videos, which is always a shame considering the guide took hours and those videos took about 40 seconds, but it's just how the economy of YouTube works. And I apologise for this fight here. You can't really see what's going to happen. Well, you can a little bit. It's a Mastiff and it's a bunch of the handy guys. There is 2 Mastiffs, so just be aware of that. They are the targets, but you'll notice 3 strikes and I got the armor break. This sword is OP and amazing. I love it. Even if they do spell armor wrong. But always switch to the l'estrangle, or whatever it's called, to finish off these guys without getting touched. Not only does it build your combo, but it's pretty much keeps them in a constant state of stun and guarantees them no damage. So really useful little piece of equipment that. Also the most detailed sub-weapon of all of them, because it has the most moves, it integrates the best with the katana. The other ones are all kind of standalone attacks, which... God, I so want to talk to people at Platinum. I really do. Like, I need to become some kind of journalistic power in gaming, or just have some kind of influence where I can get a response on Twitter and shit. Because I have so many questions. I really do. But this fight here, clean out the soldiers first, then clean out the armoured cyborg, and then hope you don't get shot or cheesily missiled by the grad, or it's restart that checkpoint and it's all over again. But there's the Zandatsu, there's the grad. This is a... I actually got a fight against a grad in mid-air. He was stood on imaginary land, and I ended up going up with him and killing him. Like that right there, I don't even know what happened then. That's how powerful this sword is. This sword is great. So good. The best part about it, it's in the game. It's not DLC. It's something that you've earned, and it's something that has one very particular use, and that is it is fantastic against armour. And a lot of the most difficult fights in this game are armoured enemies. This is one of them right now. This is one of the hardest fights in the game. And it's hard because there's no checkpoint. You have to kill 3 Mastiffs, and then you have to kill 2 Fenriers. And if you get unlucky with the Fenriers, you're fucked. If they decide to kill you, you're dead. Nothing you can do. But sometimes, every so often, you get real lucky where they just go into psycho mode and they start running around and not really doing anything. And I go immediately into Ripper mode just to try and get some quick kills. I killed 2 of the Mastiffs there. I'm in Blade mode here just to deal some damage. There's the Zandatsu. Moments like this is complete luck in this game. As soon as you hit that Ripper mode and you start going to town on things, at that point the game is out of your control. It's all about will you take that little bit of damage. And that's the worst thing about the multiple Fenrir fights. If it was just a chain of them, one after the other, it'd be really cool, because I do love this enemy. And it's such a fun enemy to fight, but when there's 4 of them, come on guys. Nobody wants to do that. And it's intense and it's fun, but it just doesn't feel like you're under control. It just feels like at that point fate is just plucking strings, and I find that kind of obnoxious. But that is a really challenging fight just there, guys. So if you've got past that one, you've pretty much got this chapter in the bag. It all depends on how comfortable you are with Monsoon, and if you can do that stupid stealth bullshit before it. Because believe it or not, guys, this is another moment where I ask myself, why? And I do this a lot. Constantly asking myself why when it comes to certain games. There are fights in this level which are not ranked, that could be ranked and would be perfectly doable and fun and fine. And then there is walking around like, you know, you're tripping out on some kind of hallucinogenic, badly wielding a sword, and you have to do that, and it's ranked. Killing a bunch of guys that don't die very quickly, you can't move very fast. This is ranked. This right now is ranked. It just makes no sense. And one thing you can do on this section is there's a bunch of debris in the area that if you cut, it will act as a smoke bomb. But I don't use any of that. I just use cunning and this sword, which does not kill them nowhere near quick enough as it should. If you're in Ripper mode, I think it's a 1 hit on each of these guys because you can dismember them. Yeah, there we go. And you have to no damage this, believe it or not. You can't get hit, which is just insane because, like, if they're at a distance and they see you and they pull a gun out, you can't even evade unless you fire a rocket at them. But I didn't try that because when I play Metal Gear Rising, I don't think, oh, I'll shoot a fucking stinger at it. I think I've got a sword. I'm going to try and be a sword guy. I'm going to try and cut some dudes up. But who thought this was a good idea? Look at it. Look at it. It's just stupid. And what happens here every time is when you go for this guy, the other guy comes over, and if you don't have enough blade mode, you can be in trouble. But we'll soon find out. This is just unnecessary, and I would actually say to you, if you're doing this, put the fox blade on or the wig for the unlimited ripper mode and just have at it, because this takes too long. Somebody just saw me then as well. Far too long. It's entire. I will throw this out there though, just a show of hands to people that watch this. Who thinks this is a good idea to have this as one of the ranked fights on an S rank playthrough? Like, do you enjoy this? Do you have a compelling reason why you think it's an important part? Because to me, this seems like a sequence that you should have played as Wolf on. Because Raiden is obviously not in a state to fight, so you should have gone ahead as Wolf and done a stealth section and killed all these guys for him. And it would have been kind of cool, but instead we get this, and you've got to do it without taking damage, which is really silly. And this next sequence coming up, you get beat up by a bunch of guys, and it ruins the no damage run. But it is possible to do it without taking damage. You've probably just got to get really creative. And as for the intents and purposes of this guide, the no damage bonus at the end of the statistics screen is not mandatory. So I didn't do it. There is a video on YouTube though of somebody doing it with smoke, using the items that let you smoke things, which is a very creative way of doing it. But you're not going to see that in this video. You are going to see the Monsoon Fight coming up though. This is an interesting fight. So a lot of guys hate this boss, and I did too. And I hated it until it made sense. And the one thing that really bugged me is I could never see the smoke bomb coming, and it damaged you, which I thought was cheap, and it took too long for him to come out of the smoke bomb. I also hate the fact he jumps around and he spends half the fight throwing shit at you. And then the final thing that bothered me with it was the fact that you needed to have a stock of EMPs to touch him. And now I kind of understand all of it a lot better. So my advice is, for this first bit, cut the objects so you can pick up the things for the first 2 to 3 times he does it, mainly to get your EMP grenades back and to also increase your battle points, because battle points are an important part of this game. The second thing I would advise as well is back up your save. As soon as you get the checkpoint at the start of this fight, dashboard, go to your Xbox storage and copy the save file from your hard drive to a memory unit, just in case you fuck up, or you commit to thinking you've done it and you don't get the S. That way, when it does, inevitably save, you can just come back and play again. Because you can S-rank this fight without the no damage bonus, because I've done it. And it's not that difficult to do as long as you're quick, you get a high combo, and you pick up a lot of the shit. And the problem is, if you do take damage and you want to commit, it saves before he fires the obelisk at you. So when you go to restart, you've fucked the entire checkpoint because you've committed. And if you don't get the S, you've fucked the entire level. So backing up your save is the best way of doing it. But when he's on the floor, the best way to get DPS on him is to do the slide kick, the 2 hits, then hit him with the pincer and charge the second hit. When he does this, don't even waste EMPs on him, because he's going to fly away and do the Lorentz force. As soon as he does that, swap to the Psy. The reason we've done this is once we've blocked the Lorentz force and pile of tanks, he's going to be on the ground and he's going to fire his bullshit at you. Block the bullshit and then hit him with the charged Psy. It has the exact same effect as an EMP grenade. But there's the second block. Jump up and cut this for as long as you can. This is where you're going to get your combo hits. I think you get battle points for doing it as well. As soon as you land, run forward. Cutscene drops him. He immediately throws a Psy at you, so block it. If you get the perfect parry, you'll be good. You don't have to, so just spam block a little bit. As soon as it stops attacking you, use the Psy. There's the stun, and then you can go forward and proceed to damage him. Did you see his life go back up then? I think his fucking life just went back up. Doesn't matter. He's going to die either way. Look at that. And I always try and cancel out of this and do the stinger to him, but it usually misses. But this is the evasion tactic instead of cutting. So what you want to do is you want to go to the corner where Monsoon is stood and you want to hug the wall. As soon as the cutting symbol shows, so wait for it, as soon as it shows on the screen, that's when you start running. And if done correctly, you will dodge this every time. You just need to be aware of where he starts and where you are so that you've got long enough to do the circuit. But it's a much safer way than doing all the choppy. And it's much quicker too. But just keep on dropping damage on him, keep on using your pincers. Just be careful, do you see him just then? He recovered from my attack and immediately attacked me, so get ready to cancel out into a counter. Don't bother attacking him when he's purple, always use the EMP or the Sight if you have it on hand. And then proceed to damage him. When you get his life down to this, I think this is it effectively. He's just going to jump away, do the Lorentz Force, and then you've done it. So there's no timing required for this block, just spam forward and X, that's all you have to do, or forward and square on PlayStation. You'll notice Raiden just keeps squatting like he needs a turd. That's all I'm doing, forward and X, do the cut. As soon as the cut is done, you're going to get a checkpoint, and then it's simple. And if you've took no damage, and it's been as clean as that one just then, you will have your S rank. There's the obelisk. Why checkpoints at this point? I have no idea. Nobody needs any help doing this next section. It is easy. We could have done with a checkpoint halfway through the damn fight. That would have made it much more manageable. But instead, we just have to put up with it. But as per normal, thank you for watching, folks. If you're new, thank you for subscribing. I hope you're enjoying the content. Just a little addendum to your subscription. I do not just cover one game. If you've subscribed for a single thing and you're not getting that single thing, there is no point complaining. Just unsubscribe. Don't even have to leave a comment because you're not going to have any effect. It just doesn't make sense, you know. You don't shout at the television when it doesn't have the listings that you want. You just kind of accept it, and my channel's the exact same. So, do apologise, but that's how it's always been and will always be. So thank you for watching, and you take care now.